of us in this room have been following the climate debate for...
And judging by the way they already talk to me now,
well, that dealing with climate change is not a problem, it's an opportunity. And we've heard from a whole range of speakers in our opening ceremony this morning and a closed round table that lots of people are doing things. They may appear sometimes small things, but when you add them together, there's a huge amount of action taking place. And those people who are taking action, from the faith community, from agricultural community, from industry, from finance, from a whole range of sectors, they're pushing as hard as they can. They also say they need leadership, and they need leadership from governments to give them the framework, to enable them to innovate, to unleash entrepreneurship, and to really create a more prosperous future for everyone. We know for a clean revolution, we know what technology we need, and most of it's already available. We know that we can do it at a cost that is not more expensive than the current fossil fuel world we live in. We know the policies that we need, and we know that the finance exists. What we need is leadership from politicians, leadership from business leaders to say, yeah, we will make this happen. So the problem in most parts of the world is one of politics now, because the science is clear, the economics is clear, and the technology is clear. But we need that political leadership to say, yes, we will do this. Well, there's a huge range of different activities taking on around the world. In the US, in the last few years, we've seen, because of a switch from coal to gas, and because of efficiency standards, particularly in vehicles, that emissions are beginning to come down. At the same time, the US is coming out of recession. So that gives lie to the myth that dealing with climate change is expensive. In fact, many of the things we need to do with climate change, as in the US and in many other countries around the world, are drivers of productivity, drivers of jobs, and drivers of growth. The Chinese are adopting a clean revolution. They call it a new green industry because it's going to create new jobs, it's going to improve their productivity, and it's going to set them on the road to economic prosperity for the next 20, 30, 40 years. And we're seeing this in an increasing number of countries, not just the rich. We're seeing it in China, we're seeing it in India, we're seeing it in Indonesia, we're seeing it in parts of Africa, where clean, renewable energy is providing solutions to people that they never even dreamt of before. So the clean revolution has started. It needs to happen quicker, and it needs to happen bigger. And that's the challenge that faces us still today. Some people believe we have a choice between continuing the economy we have at the moment and have a high carbon prosperous economy, or a low carbon prosperous economy. But that's a false choice, because the high carbon economy is not a prosperous one. We've heard in speeches at Climate Week already about the 250 million climate refugees who will exist if we don't deal with climate change, because countries will be underwater, farmlands will be salinated. There will be challenges for not only poor people, but people all around the world. We already know that 60% of this country is under drought, at the same time that there are floods in Colorado. We saw Superstorm Sandy last year. We've seen increased extreme weather events all around the world. We're seeing problems with the monsoon. We've seen problems with agricultural variability in all sorts of countries. So the consequences of climate change are not something that will happen in the future. It's happening now already, and it'll already get worse. So it's not a choice between high carbon prosperity and low carbon prosperity. It's high carbon disaster and low carbon prosperity.